Good morning. It's now Wednesday, the 18th, our third day. We're going to rationalize denominators today. You look at the first problem here, you realize that this one's really simple, of course. The square root of 9 is just 3, and then 15 over 3 becomes 5. No big deal. But in problem 2, the square root of 2 cannot be simplified. There are no perfect squares in that. But you cannot leave a square root in the denominator. So we have to do what's called rationalizing the denominator. So what we do is whatever is in the square root down here, we multiply by square root of that over itself. Remember, anything over itself is the same thing as 1. So we're not changing the value of this expression. We're just changing how it looks. Now watch what happens when I do that. Root 2 times root 2, of course, is root 4. There's an invisible 1 here, so 6 times 1 root 2 is 6 root 2. Now the square root of 4 is just 2. So you see the square root sign has disappeared from the denominator. A root times itself will cancel out the root. Root 2 times root 2 is plain 2. Now we're not quite done with this yet. The last thing I want to do is just to reduce this fraction. 6 over 2 is just 3. So we get a final answer of 3 over root 2. That's it. And the next one's similar, a little bit more involved. The denominator has this 5 with it, but remember, that's not a problem. The problem is the root 3. You can't leave a root 3 in the denominator. Don't worry about the 5. So like this one here, we're now just going to multiply by root 3 over root 3. So the top, remember there's invisible 1. The top would be 4 root 3. The bottom would be 5 times root 9. Which of course root 9 is what? That's plain old 3. That comes out, turns it into 15. 4 over 15 does not reduce. We are done. Remember, you can't leave a square root in the denominator. This next one, we have a couple of ways to do it. Okay, we have the square root of 12 in the denominator. I can rationalize by multiplying by root 12 over root 12. So I get 8 root 12. Remember, any root times itself, we just cancel the root. Root 12 times root 12 is root 144, but that's the same thing as plain 12. Now, 8 over 12 reduces to this. Now remember, I'm not done. I can still rationalize this root 12. Simplify it. So that becomes, I'm going to break the 12 up to 4 times 3. This comes out as plain 2, turns that 2 in front to a 4. What's left inside? This 3 downstairs is that. I'm going to do the same problem a different way. I'm going to first simplify the bottom, break it up to 4 times 3. That comes out as 2. And 8 over 2 is 4 over root 3. I can't leave the root 3 in the bottom. Remember, root 3 times root 3 is plain 3. Notice how these answers are the same. Either way is okay. I prefer the top method if the numbers don't get too big. Just rationalize right away. Root 12 wasn't that big. But you notice that the bottom method isn't really any longer or shorter. Bottom line is don't leave any square roots in the denominator and make sure that any square roots up top are fully simplified and that your fractions are reduced. All set. Try the assignment, replay if needed.